Glad you could join us. Now, the Ministry of Education is conducting investigations into a video purported to be of free SHS ambassadors campaigning in senior high schools. The video, which has gone viral on social media platforms, caused the opposition NDC to issue a statement. In that video, the gentleman who is clad in a t-shirt with the inscription Free SHS Ambassador boldly embossed on it could be heard indoctrinating a gathering of SHS students to campaign to their colleagues and parents to vote for President Akufo-Addo in the 2020 general elections. Take a look at the video.
Some of you will register next year so that you can vote next year. The only way you can maintain it so that you can continue up to Form 3 and complete is by advising your seniors, by advising your parents, advising your brothers, and then your sisters who are in the house who can vote. Advise them, please. Tell them, please, I want to complete secondary school. So maintain secondary education, maintain free SHS. This is the only way you can maintain it. By advising them, crying to your parents, crying to your brothers and sisters. Tell them that when they are going to vote, they should think about you. Tell them that they should think about you first. That's the more reason why you are here. Your education is paramount. Your education is paramount. That's why the ambassadors.
Now, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, has alleged that the government is using subterfuge means to campaign in senior high schools across the country. According to the biggest opposition party, persons who brand themselves as ambassadors for the free senior high school policy go to the schools purposely to campaign for the government with the 2020 general elections looming. But in a statement issued on Thursday, the Ministry of Education says it is conducting investigations to ascertain facts around the issue. That statement you now have on your screen, it says the attention of the ministry has been drawn to a video circulating on social media purporting to be a person carrying himself as a free SHS ambassador and addressing SHS students. The ministry has also taken notice of a statement by the NDC addressing this video. The ministry wishes to state emphatically that government has not appointed or mandated any person or persons as free SHS ambassadors to go around senior high school campuses in the country to campaign for the government of President Akufo-Addo. The ministry is conducting investigations to ascertain the facts surrounding the video circulating on social media and other related issues. It's signed by the Communications Director for the Ministry, Eko Vincent Asefwa. Now, away from that story, it appears Ghanaians have found an alternative for moving their goods irrespective of the closure of Nigerian borders by the country's authorities. It's unclear exactly when the Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari ordered the border closure in an apparent move to halt smuggling from Benin, but traders say it's been 3 months already and still counting. Ghana's government, through the Ministries of Trade and Industry and Foreign Affairs, have a following series of meetings with their Nigerian counterparts indicated that talks were still ongoing to allow Ghanaian businesses passage. Joy News' head of security desk, Gifty Andrapia, has been visiting the Beninois hub of cross-border activities with Nigeria and reports she's yet to find stranded Ghanaian businesses there. She, however, found intense fear among Benin business owners to comment on the matter, and a smuggling business is still booming.
This is Tokpa Market. It is one of the biggest in Cotonou. As a matter of fact, some people say it's the biggest market in West Africa. It's been well over 10 hours for us to get here from Ghana to assess the situation at the Benin-Nigerian border following the closure of the Nigerian border. It's been very difficult establishing stranded Ghanaian businesses, but what is not in doubt is that several businesses here have been affected. Several Nigerians who work here, several Beninois businesses are complaining. But what is very interesting to note, though, is that they will not go on record. There seems to be an intense fear among the populace about speaking on this matter. Some say there are political undertones, and some say there is a disciplinary committee set up here in Benin, and that prosecutes people, or if you like, takes people to tribunal for saying the least thing wrong. And so they're very hesitant to talk to me. But they tell me cash inflows have been affected severely, and they say prices of goods have gone up. In fact, Bloomberg has reported that inflation in Nigeria has gone up. And this is all because Nigeria says it wants to cut down on smuggling of food, especially rice. What we can confidently report also is that despite the closure of the border, there are several illegal routes which are being plied by smugglers. Kifsi Andwapia, Joy News, Kota Markets, Cotonou, Benin.
And while Benin nationals feared to speak, their Nigerian counterparts spared no punches for their government over the closure of the border. Some describe the situation as a calamity with the potential of killing businesses and people.
The closure is affecting my business because as the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the president now gave an order through the chief controller of customs that there shouldn't be anything like importation or exportation. Then likewise last week when I went to Nigeria, I was coming back, Badagry to be precisely, I saw some people with takeaway packs were being seized by customs, and the question is, what are they doing with takeaway packs? Is takeaway packs part of the problem? Is taking takeaway packs down here to sell or to any West African country? Is that a problem? We don't just want to face the facts in Africa. We feel here in Africa we are being cheated. Africa is just what Putin called it. Africa is a mortuary, is a morgue, is a cemetery. Africa is a cemetery.
Let's look at how it's affected. Do you have friends who have businesses who are also affected? How exactly is it affecting?
Generally, it's affecting. Generally, it's affecting. You're not going to shy away that it's not affecting. It's affecting both the neighboring countries. It's affecting we in the diaspora that are doing one businesses or the other. It's affecting us.
Since the closure of the border, things are no more coming in as it used to be before, because they block both import and export. So that you cannot import, you cannot export, as long as Nigeria is concerned. So there's nothing is working again. So once you bring in something, once you bring in your goods, there's no how, you can bring it in, unless you spend a lot of money. Nigerian customs are collecting a lot of money from us.
Have they collected your money? I mean, do you have an experience to share with us?
Yes, I have such experience.
Tell us.
Yeah, because what you used to do before, just like before, it does not concern Nigerian custom. It does not concern Nigerian custom. Why bringing this thing? Because this is Nigerian made. Okay. We call it Aba made. This is Aba made clothes. Okay? So since we have been since the closure of the border, they refuse to allow these things to come in because they say no export, no import. But we have been discussing with them, telling them that this is Nigerian made, Aba made. Why are you people not allowing it to, to cross border?
What did they tell you?
They said that the government said no import, no export.
But you said you have an experience where you had to spend more to bring it.
Yes, because you have to beg them and they have to collect money from you before allowing you to cross.
How do you feel about this?
Pain, a lot of pain. I passed through pain before crossing this thing. I passed through pain. And they have been affecting us here in Benin Republic.
There are other routes that people are using to send things in. Do you know about these routes?
I don't understand.
Some people have said that even though the border has been closed, there's still a way of taking your things in and bringing your things out.
I don't know about that one. I talk about my own.
Okay.
I don't know about that one.
How do you want the situation to be resolved?
The only problem we have now is the border closure. Okay?
How do you want it to be resolved?
They have to reopen the border. That is the only thing we want. They have to reopen the border because the border has been affecting us.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has presented 450,000 CFA francs to Ghanaian drivers who are stranded at a town on the Nigeria-Benin border. The money is to help the drivers defray expenses they may have incurred as a result of the border closure. The drivers have not been able to cross the border since Nigeria shut its border with Benin on August 21 this year. The situation has led to hundreds of vehicles, mostly articulated trucks, being locked at both ends of the border. The money was delivered on behalf of the president by a Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Carlos Ahinkra, during a meeting with Ghanaian drivers at the border on Thursday. Also in attendance at the meeting was the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Mr. Charles Oredu.
In some of us, and be a crown and super to be and yet is Kakra, share embassy in some. Yakacha say, Obi or them have beer at least 5,000 CFA on pension 7 of
We are giving an amount of 5,000 CFA to everyone here for you to buy some food.
Munimi is a gun for the baby could be able to call. BBM, baby could be a proposal, you my yim.
The money will be left with the embassy. Please let your behavior reflect the character of our nation.
And if we say even we ambassadors.
You know, Ghanaians are celebrated as calm and law-abiding. Don't allow your attitude to tarnish the image of Ghana. Even in your pain, do not forget that you are true ambassadors of our nation.
My driver said, "Jamahano, who make sure some more tramoka, who make sure some more cover be up for Ebasasa. Nama Mufa, Assembly, I'm a two
Eyes are on you. I especially entreat the bus conductors whose masters have left them in charge of their vehicles to keep watch over the cars diligently.
Situation we see. Yet Mr. Driver for the one Mananka Shimukufu. Said maybe 7 minute driver for Chobad. I don't know woman for future. And the Mr. Driver, they want a manesho. But Impo and yes, I here. And yes, she.
Away from the border, members of parliament have split heads over the decriminalization of attempted suicides in the country. In a statement on the floor, ranking member for the Health Committee and MP for Dwaboso, Kwabena Mintah Kando, demanded amendment of the country's laws to decriminalize attempted suicides. But the Bekwai MP Joe Osei-Wusu and the minority leader Haruna Idrisu argued that the move to amend the law will be an avenue for people to commit suicide, insisting the call to decriminalize attempted suicide is needless.
I've done 30 years in law practice now. Even in my young days, I don't remember the last time I saw or heard somebody prosecuted for attempted suicide. There are some matters we should just allow to lie. I think that in the everyday jurisprudence, this is one of the things that any prosecutor is interested in, or even people, Ghanaians generally, sympathize with people who attempt to commit suicide. Growing up, those people in the small communities are actually helped. They are taken to our informal counselors. Probably it would be ideal to facilitate and give them the formal counseling as would be desired. But frankly, where are the formal counselors? I've heard Dr. Asari complain often, but I also know that he is heavily overburdened with the psychiatric cases that is before him. What I suggest you do is pretend that it doesn't exist, because truly, that is how we have looked at it in the past few years, and focus on more present things. And thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. I don't know, very cheap. Mr. Speaker, let me commend the
If we don't criminalize it as a country, then you are saying that it is normal and good behavior. It cannot be. Any person who has researched deeply onto suicide, the only type of suicide that even you may want to say behaviorally is rewarded is the altruistic suicide, where the individual places societal values higher than his personal values. But when it is egoistic, when there is normlessness in the society, it can lead to suicide. So, Mr. Speaker, whilst I agree that we should restore the mental health authority to deal with it, in many situations, Mr. Speaker, only a month ago, whilst I was preparing for Maghrib prayers around Newtown,
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for Wild West, Joseph Yeletre, argued that decriminalization is the way to go. My colleague Parker Wilson joins me on the phone with more. Hello, Kwesi. So, Parker, what has the House decided on this matter?
Well, so the House is yet to decide on this matter because when a statement is made on the floor, they all have the opportunity to contribute to the statement. And clearly, one would have thought that since the statement came from the minority, and as it has been over the years gone by, all the members belonging to the minority would be in support. And just as we heard, the minority leader himself kicked against the practice because he says he has seen some, he has a number of examples to this effect. Now, Honorable Yeletre is of the view that people are going through societal problems. There is pressure on them. There is no employment, and they can't cater for their family. It compels them to commit suicide. So rather, these individuals need compassion. They need mental support. They need social support. So it is better you give them psychological treatment than to take them to prison or even jail them. So this is the debate that's going on the floor. And he made a comment about attempted suicide being on the ascendancy, which the majority disagreed. And the Member of Parliament for Efutu, Alexander Feyo-Makin, asked him to withdraw the statement because he is not backing the statement of any fact and evidence to support that.
Right.
Indeed, attempted suicide is on the right. This is the conversation going on the floor of Parliament.
Is there anything else we should expect from the floor today?
Normally on Fridays they close early, so very soon they'll be reading the statement for next week, which again the Attorney General has been scheduled to appear before the House and then answer the question on Kwesi Nyantakyi.
Right, thank you very much, Kwesi Parker Wilson, for joining us. The former president, Jerry John Rawlings, has urged Ghanaians to help defend media freedom. He believes it's a big mistake for individuals and some authorities alike to run down media freedom. According to the former president, collaborative efforts by media houses in the country is key to achieving a safer media space. He believes his administration has been great in the phenomenon and disagrees with the supposed culture of silence attributed to his regime.
No matter how bad these things can be, destroying merit, credit, you're killing the fire of idealism in the youth. You're destroying your future. Things have gotten so bad that politicians and the business people now own your voice. How you're going to fight them? I don't know, but you'll have to try. You'll have to work hard at it. To say Pope, where they have to decide what is right and what is wrong. You know something? When I went to give a talk to our people in Kumasi, I said a few things. And there was something extremely important that I thought should have been reported. That's our own party people. They had tape recorders left and right taping me throughout. So I thought, well, at least we'll hear something to do with one of those issues. I was citing an example of something that had happened in one of the constituencies when we were going to elect the old or new parliamentarians. And as the old parliament, the current one, appeared at the scene, it was a big function of a sort. They received him with some coldness. Hardly anybody appeared to enjoy his arrival. When the new aspiring candidate arrived, you should have seen the warmth with which the crowd, elders, whatnot, their youth, received him. In the meantime, the leadership had pumped in a lot of money into the executives to make sure the old one keeps the seat. If you have any sense, any political sense in your head, you're monitoring it. The minute you see something like that, straight away, you call your man, step aside, and give it to the one to whom they've shown such warmth. That would show political sensitivity.
Away from that, the Director General of the MTTD, COP Christian Tete Yohuno, is cautioning police personnel to put an end to what he describes as illegal extortion of monies from road users and indiscipline, or face the full rigor of the law. According to him, the police service has put together a formidable strategy to mitigate the issue of traffic police misconduct and possibly putting an end to the menace. Speaking as a closing ceremony of training for police outriders, COP Yohuno urged the police to report acts, urged the public, to report acts of lawlessness and corruption among police officers. Henry Kwesi Bedu has more and joins me now. Henry, what more can you report?
All right, Daniel. When COP was speaking, he made mention about the fact that in about 2 weeks there will be some landlines and also platforms for the general public to send in videos, pictures, and audio, if you get, to help deal with the menace. He was speaking at the closing ceremony of some outriders. When you talk about outriders, policemen on vehicle, on motorbikes, as they went through some 2 weeks training, about 41 of them. So in 2 weeks, any Ghanaian everywhere would have a feel of get a contact that you could send a police officer who you say, behaving in what he described as misconduct and illegal extortion of money. That is what he said on it.
Right, Henry, thank you very much for joining us with that update. Now, the Ministry of Communications is urging parents, teachers, and the society as a whole to help in narrowing what they call the gender digital divide in the country. Ursula Osu Ekufo said the historical narrative suggesting girls cannot venture into technology should be a thing of the past. Mrs. Osu Ekufo made the call while inaugurating some ICT labs in some schools in the central region to help girls grow interest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Richard Kojonyako has more.
The Communications Minister, Ursula Osu Ekufo, says the underrepresentation of girls in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields in Ghana makes it even more important to show girls in particular that learning how to code is not only extremely beneficial, but it can also be fun. According to her, the best coders have various skills and abilities like problem solving, logic, imagination, multitasking, aesthetic judgment, and design skills. Stereotypically, she argues many of those traits are female attributes, but sadly, girls are not encouraged enough to pursue such fields.
Historically, our girls haven't been encouraged to even think that when it comes to technology, they can also do it. We know it's boys who like gadgets and all that, and they are always tinkering with things. So when it comes to science, technology, engineering, and math education, our girls haven't been encouraged to even be part of it. Even when it comes to choosing their subjects, they are steered towards the art subjects. We want to change that narrative. We want to let them know that there is nothing they can't do if they put their minds in it. Maybe some are interested in it, like this young lady who wants to be a computer programmer. If she hadn't had the opportunity to see what she could do, she wouldn't realize that maybe she has an aptitude for it. We also want to inform them about how indispensable knowledge in ICT has become for every sector of our human endeavor.
Esla Owusu-Ekufo is canvassing for support to help change the trend by narrowing the gender-digital divide in the country.
To happen. This is part of our steps to narrow the gender-digital divide, because there's a huge gap and we want to close that gap. And so we want to focus on girls, expose them to ICT, train them in the use of it, give them the opportunity to continue utilizing it, interact with mentors, females who've achieved in this sector, so that they will know that it is not just theory, but people have actually learned the skills that they are acquiring and have worked with it and are working with it, so they can also aspire to be like those girls.
The Ministry of Communication, together with GIFEC, will select 100 best girls in ICT to spend some time interacting with technologically inclined companies and establishments, so their interest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics could show up. Richard Kwejonya-Akon, Joy News, Cape Coast.
Now, still in Cape Coast, the management of the University of Cape Coast has discounted claims by the National Disaster Management Organization that its gutters and drains are responsible for the flooding that occurred at the university. The university got flooded after hours of torrential rainfall in the central region, leading to the suspension of lectures and quizzes on Wednesday. Authorities of the university took a tour around the university campuses a day after the disaster to assess the situation. Director of Public Affairs of the university, Major Kofi Ba Bentum, says the university is better placed in terms of clean gutters and drains in the country. Richard Kwejonya-Akon has more.
The University of Cape Coast got flooded on Tuesday following hours of rains in the central region. The streets of the university were inundated, making movement of students, lecturers, and other users of the roads within the university very difficult. The university thus took a decision to suspend all lectures and quizzes to protect property, students, and lecturers. The National Disaster Management Organization gave initial assessment that suggested that the university's gutters and drains were choked, which resulted in the flooding. The university today toured the areas affected by the floods and to inspect its gutters and drains. They discredited the account of the National Disaster Management Organization. Major Kofi Ba Bentum is the PRO of the University of Cape Coast.
What happened was that we had too much rains, so it was as a result of the volume of rains that we had, which caused the floods. And also, as you can see, the waters have receded and life is back to normal on campus. If it rains for over 6 hours, then definitely some of these things are bound to happen. And then going forward also, I think that we may have to do some re-engineering as far as some of our drainages are concerned, so that where we need to expand, we will expand some of them.
Meanwhile, the university has issued a stern warning to communities that live around the university who have been dumping refuse at the premises of the university to desist from such acts.
As you saw yourself, that place is a reserved area, is UCC Botanical Gardens, so it's not a residential area as such. So it is the adjoining communities who are close to the place who have been dumping their refuse over there. Over the years, we've made all efforts to stop them. It hasn't worked. So what we intend to do now is to sit down with the opinion leaders in the community and then give them a last chance. We'll remove the garbage and then we'll fence the place up. We have done it previously, but they had a way of breaking the fences, the pillars, and cutting the wires that we did. But we'll do it. We cannot be getting this heap of refuse out of the place. It's expensive. So we cannot be doing it all the time. So we'll do it, and then if they continue to dump their refuse there, then maybe we'll have to now bring in the police to help us.
So the management of the university says it will take a firm decision to get rid of the heaps of garbage that are dumped on its lands on a daily basis. Richard Kwejo-Nyakon, Joy News, Cape Coast.
Still live on Joy News today. Coming up in business, Ghana Union of Traders Associations is appointed. The country's law enforcement and other agencies are failing to enforce laws barring foreigners from engaging in retail trade. Stay with us.